There is a realm of sin and death. There is also a realm, grace, and life. Holy baptism, by the grace of God, transfers our citizenship from the realm of death into the realm of life. That is, in brief, what St. Paul is arguing and describing in a pivotal chapter from his letter to the Romans, a portion of which we just heard a few moments ago. And this baptismal chapter in his letter leads into his soaring exaltation of Christian hope, which is rooted in the groaning of the whole creation itself for that glorious day of liberty and life, when the whole creation is set free from its bondage to decay. In baptism, Paul writes, we are buried with Christ in his death, so that we may with Christ be raised to new life. Therefore, he says, we are no longer enslaved by sin. Now, if this notion of being enslaved seems, a bit melodramatic, that's probably because most of us still think of sin as just like, breaking a rule, making a mistake. But biblical writers had something quite different in mind, and actually those who are recovering from substance abuse know exactly what Paul is talking about. Like sin, addiction is a form of enslavement. Recovery is ongoing liberation and a different way of life. It is often a radically, dramatically different way of life. And that is Paul's point about baptismal life. Your citizenship has changed. You might still be living in the same house, in the same neighborhood, in the same nation state, but baptism has changed your citizenship. And you need to live accordingly. Now, when Paul argues that we need to live according to our baptismal life, he's not talking about personal morality here, like be polite, don't cheat on your taxes, keep your promises. All of that stuff is good. It's very important, in fact, but that's not what he's talking about. Christianity is not a religion of moral regulations. Christian faith shapes a life devoted to social transformation. No longer belonging to the realm of death, we live ever more fully into the realm of life. Now, in his letters, Paul names some of the many features of the first century realm of death from which Christ sets us free. So, what does that realm look like today? How would we describe it? Do we seriously think of ourselves as enslaved to anything? What about this? Whoever did that was perfect timing, and your check is in the mail. This little shiny object, it's hard to imagine navigating daily life without it now. I use it all the time for all sorts of tasks, even entertainment. And the cost of this device, the cost in human labor and environmental destruction is staggering. As you may know, these devices require rare earth minerals in order to operate at all. In the Democratic Republic of the Congo, for example, in that place alone, there are over 40,000 children, many of them as young as 6, who are excavating these minerals 12 hours a day for $1 a day, breathing toxic dust with no safety gear. Processing these minerals creates literally thousands of tons of acidic wastewater that literally decimates whole ecosystems, making them uninhabitable for generations. This phone comes from a culture of death. I use it every day. Or consider what we eat. For quite a few years now, actually a good number of decades, many of our agricultural products here in the United States have been banned in Europe. The dozens and dozens of pesticides used by the vast majority of industrial farms in this country are outlawed by the European Union as toxic to human health. Many of them indisputably cause cancer. As you likely know, some of you more than others, there's a World Cup of soccer going on right now here in this country. Many countries from around the world are here. Norway actually shipped its own food here for its national team, all of it, because they believe American food is unhealthy and unfit to be eaten. And American nutritionists mostly agree. Our food is making us sick. Moreover, some of the companies that make those pesticides are owned by the pharmaceutical companies that make the drugs to treat the diseases caused by the pesticides. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a publicly available financial account of the realm of sin to which we are enslaved. Our daily bread comes from a culture of death. We eat it every day. As gospel writers and early Christian theologians declared, into this culture of death steps the Lord of life to set us free. And this arrival is always met with opposition, sometimes by ourselves, oftentimes by those who profit from their investment in the old realm. And this opposition is what led to the crucifixion of Jesus. And as we heard from Matthew, the followers of Jesus will face a similar fate. This baptismal way of life is so distinctive, so consequential, that it will even divide families. It will set a son against his father, Jesus says, and a daughter against her mother. Our enemies will come from our own household. LGBT people know exactly what that means. Coming out of a deathly closet of deception often comes with a cost, even among our friends and families. Indeed, one of the reasons LGBT people have so often been treated with hostility is that our very existence shows that a different world is possible. And it's threatening. Years ago, the presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church, Frank Griswold, found himself, this is in the early 2000s, found himself in the midst of a global Anglican communion falling apart, unraveling, because of the ordination of a gay man as the Bishop of New Hampshire. That was Gene Robinson. And Bishop Griswold told the story of traveling to various African countries where the Anglican bishops there were especially disgruntled about all this, and he thought their objection was mostly biblical and could be resolved with, better Bible study. What he encountered instead was how lesbian and gay relationships pose a threat to the gendered order of patriarchal societies. And those bishops complained bitterly to Frank. "You're asking us to change our entire worldview," they said. Yes. Yes, we are. Because that is exactly what the gospel of Jesus Christ demands from all of us. Every single one. To embrace this countercultural path toward a different world. A world of thriving, abundant life for all. And friends, it's really important that we stress that this transformation is for all of us, because African countries are tired of white people like me telling them what to do. The gospel of Jesus Christ is offering this invitation to all of us for a transformed way of life. And we should, by the way, note very carefully that there are some wonderfully brave and trailblazing bishops in African countries, both men and women, who recognize the patriarchal imprint of their societies as the realm of sin and death from which Jesus sets them free. And they're paying a hefty price for their witness to the gospel, just as Matthew's Jesus said they would. These are hard things. They make me uncomfortable saying them. And this is an uncomfortable gospel passage. Everything I've said this morning is to underscore 4 little words from Matthew's Jesus. Do not be afraid. Seriously? In this jaw-dropping passage of hair-raising warnings, Jesus really says, do not be afraid. Yes, he does. And he is referring especially to the fear of death. Do not be afraid of those who can kill the body, he says, but cannot kill the soul. Take up your cross. Follow me. When we are no longer afraid of death, we can live as bold witnesses to the gospel of life for the world's healing and transformation. And letting go of that fear of death does not happen overnight. We are trained from a very early age to find it terrifying. It's a lifelong journey to let it go. And the path of self-sacrificial love that frees us is the very one that Jesus himself took to the cross. We can't do this by ourselves. We cannot take this journey alone. Remember, Jesus is saying all of this to his disciples, and he's sending them out, not alone, but together. That's why we gather with each other every week at this table to receive once again the gift of courage for this journey. This good road that leads toward life. Do not be afraid.